Hello, welcome back to Sabretooth and Nethemba, where we care about your security, and I do personally as well. Okay, I've been away for a couple of weeks, and I've had some pretty bad news regarding medical tests, but I'm not going to go into that right now. So, when it comes to Friday, I'll be doing an insane or hard box or something for Hack the Box, but I thought for Try Hack Me, I will cover a few requests. I have a request from Jamie. I'm not sure if you're male or female, it's an ambiguous name. But Jamie has said creative is apparently an easy box on Try Hack Me, but I've been trying it and I've run scanners and I've run word lists and directory brute force and I can't find anything. I don't quite know what to do here. I don't know where to go. Could you take a look? Yes. I also remember somebody leaving a comment asking me to do a box on Hack the Box, but at the time the box was still active. It wasn't retired, so I couldn't do it back then. I will get around to that. I've not forgotten. It's on my list, I promise. So I'll go back to that and figure out which box it was. But I would like to go back to something a bit harder for Hack the Box. Okay, wait up to 5 minutes for the machine to boot. Oh no. Well, we'll try it. Regardless, as soon as we get the IP, submit both the user and root flags to complete the room. User.text, root.text. Okay, so this one is creative. Apparently easy. And I'm saying apparently because some people are having difficulty with this. And Jamie was very good. They actually said to me, I've gone through all of your... Oh, do you know what I've not done? And then make directory boxes creative. And Jamie said to me, I've been through all of your videos or most of your videos and followed your steps and nothing seems to be working for me. So I got talking to them and it basically said, are you sure you're connected to the network? And there's like, yeah, I've routed other boxes, but this one, I just can't seem to find anything. So in that case, well, why not? Let's have a look and see if there's something else here that you can add to your repertoire is not the word. Methodology is the right word. So we're going to do an nmap, we're going to do T5, we're going to do all ports, and we'll just do T5 for now without all ports. We're just going to do that for the top ports and then like most common 100 ports. Okay, we've got 22 and 80. And now that we have that, we can now do all ports and we can do an aggressive scan, and that can be running whilst we are dealing with web, right? So UDP is a thing. It's very possible that there's something running on UDP ports. You might not have thought to scan those. Now, doing a full scan on UDP is a nightmare because it takes so long. So this is why we don't normally do it unless there's nowhere else to turn. So for now, we're going to just go onto port 80 here and see what we have with a HTTP. You can see it automatically goes to creative.thm, which doesn't exist. So what I'm going to do is add this to my sudo nano etc host file. And what we have here, as you should know by now, that was wrong. That was wrong. I need to slow down. Better. What we have here, we can put in the IP and we can put in creative.thm right here. And now when we try again, we're here. Okay, so we have a website as expected, and I wonder if this is a one-page. It is a one-page site, so all of these links don't go anywhere specifically. They're all on this main page, which is quite good. So let's take a look. Lorem ipsum. Okay, lovely. So it's just placeholder text. I should check that I'm recording. I've not used this recording equipment in 2 weeks. Portfolio, see if any of these are clickable or so on or so forth, because I've made that mistake before. You're looking the wrong way. Edward's looking the wrong way. Okay. Intro video, okay, and we have a form here. Now on the form we can probably put in something here and here and here and see if we can send that. It doesn't seem to be doing anything unless it's saying that the email address format is wrong, as that seemed to be read. So we will turn that into this and we'll try again. Yeah, that's sent. Okay, so it actually went into a GET request. The message went here. Interesting. Okay, and we've got a components page here as well, which is maybe worthwhile looking into. There's quite a bit of stuff here we could be playing with. But let's do our regular, and we're going to do robots.txt, and there is nothing there. We have 118 on the server here, and we can also run a directory brute force, which Jamie has assured me they have already done. Okay, we'll go back to that in a second. So we're going to do dir search first, and put in that, because that searches for PHP and HTML pages. And then we can put in GoBuster as well, with a small word list here. And you can basically go here. And hopefully it's not going to cause any issues, number of threads, etc., etc. So let's grab this. It doesn't look like there's anything interesting here information-wise that we can use, but it's better to have this for the notes. Okay, so far so good. I'm half expecting something to pop up here. Well, we've got components.html, it's found. We knew about that one already. We've got index.html. There doesn't seem to be any PHP on here though. Does index.php exist? Because if not, then this could be a static site. Huh. Right, okay. Interesting. So the question is, if we run this and it doesn't come up with anything, and we run the small, medium, or even big list and it doesn't come up with anything, what would be the next step? What do people not think about doing? I've already mentioned UDP ports, maybe. What else could we actually try here? Good question. We could try subdomains, because that's something that people don't often think of, but they do sometimes exist. I know we've had dev in the past. We can try that straight off, to be fair, just in case. No, that doesn't exist. So subdomains are a possibility. Can I do this with GoBuster, or do I need to use FUF? I don't really think it matters. We can try doing it with GoBuster anyway. So let's just take a look at GoBuster and see if there should be a mode here. Is it M for mode? Directory file is default, but then there's DNS mode as well, which I think is the subdomains. So we could do GoBuster again with creative.html, creative.thm, and we could set the mode here, M, what was it, DNS? I think it was. So I don't know whether, unable to validate base domain. It might be because it's got the HTTP. Let's get rid of this and see what happens. Could be wrong here. So yeah, I'm not sure whether this is checking for subdomains or checking for something else, but we'll soon find out. It's taking longer, despite the fact it's still only a small list, or it seems to be. Okay, I could do a similar thing using Burp Suite. Or I could use FUF as well, which is a possibility. But I'm not saying that subdomains are the way to go. Let's look up FUF and see. Is it FFUF? It is. So if we look at a example here, I think we're going to need H for host. Yeah. So the host is going to be fuzzed here. That could be it. That could be what we're after. Fuzz the host header. Let's see how this is doing. Yeah, it's going to take a while. So let's write the fuff one out. We're going to change this to creative dot thm, and then the host, we're actually going to put here fuzz dot creative dot thm and try that. I think that's right. We don't want host.text though, do we? We want the full word list. So let's grab this. That's still not coming up with anything. So for word list, we are going to go to... Really? No? Huh. What is happening? I thought there'd be a word list. Let's go for tools. Oh, it's under sec list, isn't it? There we go. And then we can do directory list, lowercase. We'll do the small one again. Oh man. So you can see there's a lot of errors appearing. And the errors here, let's see what we've got. I'm not sure why there's errors here. So fuzz.creative.html and the URL here as well. Okay, so what I'm going to do, let me just check on this one again. It's still going. What I'm going to do here is I'm going to look under find, and I'm going to put in subdomains. And we're going to see where else we've seen this. We've got Year of the Jellyfish and Kronos. So let's take a look. How did we find the monitor subdomain here? That was under this, so that probably isn't good. So what about Kronos? How did we find the subdomain here? We used GoBuster DNS with a D flag, but this seems like a different version of GoBuster because nowadays it uses the M flag. So I don't know. That's kind of crazy. That does say DNS enumeration mode, whereas go back to creative. What does this say? Yeah, DNS enumeration mode. So we could just wait for this, I guess. I could also look up how to use fuff properly because I don't know. I don't use it. I don't use it at all. So fuff usage. I mean, have I used it in the past? I don't even remember. I haven't. So this is going to be a new one for me as well. Fuff usage subdomains. Okay. So subdomain fuzzing. There we go. We can do it with GoBuster. We can do it with fuff. So W is the word list, and then they actually just put it here rather than using the host header, which is interesting. I didn't think about doing that. So let's take a look. We could still use the host header as well, but what we will do is we're also going to put in fuzz here with a dot and see if that changes anything. Still errors happening. What about getting rid of the HTTP? Still problems. So I'm not quite sure why this isn't happening. I don't really think it matters, providing We could try it without the host. I don't think that's going to fix anything though. So I may have to look into that and figure out why this is happening, but this is why I don't use FUF, because I find it so complicated, to be fair. I'm going to wait and see how this does, and then I'll be back, and then I'll also try some bigger lists for the main directory brute as well. So I'll be back soon. I'm going to look up FUF whilst this happens. I mean, why not? I'm back. This isn't done yet, but I've just been looking into FUF, and the error is a 301 redirect on when the size is 178 and there's 6 words in the or 8 lines in the what's returned. If you go to FUF help, I can never remember. What you'll see here is it matches 200 responses, so 301 would never match, you see. So we could do MC200. And then this one says filter out those with content size 42, FS for filter size. So let's try these. Let's try MC200. That's still not working. Hang on, but it does have beta here. Ha! So we're still getting errors. What if we do the same with FS? What was it, 178? Again, we've got beta here with status 200. There's still errors happening all over the place. But that's interesting. We actually have a subdomain here. Is this going to catch up? And also, we'll keep it running. Maybe beta isn't in this list. So FUF kind of works. I'll need to look into it a bit further to figure out how to get rid of the errors. But first semi-successful use of FUF. Is this what you're missing, Jamie? Is this what you're missing? Did you find this page? That's my question to you. So, beta subdomain. Oh, well, I mean, it must be in the list because I used the same list, didn't I, for FUF as I did for, okay. Exists. Apparently, I've not actually checked it yet, so we will have to check that. And I'm very intrigued as to why this isn't coming up with beta. It's not finished yet, but still. Leave it running and see what happens. So, interestingly enough, that actually kind of worked out. So yeah, people are sometimes like, you know, if you're a professional pen tester, you should know these tools, but some tools are fine. You don't need to know every tool in existence. And FUF isn't one that I use often. I know of it. So the reason this doesn't exist here, or I'm hoping the reason this doesn't exist here, is because we now need to add this to our also to our sudo nano etc hosts file. So yeah, I don't know every tool there is, and there's probably many more what's the word, efficient ways of doing things than the way I do it some of the time, and that's fine. I just stick to my guns, and you know, I sometimes learn new things. Sometimes I'm quite happy sticking what I have. Fantastic. Right. Excellent. Excellent. I'm actually going to take a screenshot of this just to prove that I actually did it. Okay. If you found, Jamie, if you found beta but you couldn't get it running, maybe you forgot to add it to your host file. I don't know exactly how far you got. I'm glad you didn't tell me, because that would have annoyed me that somebody spoiled things. Subs which we add to etc hosts, right? Good. Good. Life is good. But not for GoBuster, it seems. Nearly there, and there's nothing. There's nothing. Intriguing. Okay, good. So let's go onto this website here, and we're going to put in HTTP. It's not going to be able to connect to google.com because the labs do not connect to the internet. But I just want to see what happens, because it says if it's alive, this will say not alive. It's taking its time thinking about it. Yeah, it's not doing anything at all. It can't connect to google.com. So what I'm actually going to do, I think, is just do an nc lvp on port 80. I'm going to have to sudo this one. So I'm now listening on port 80. Yeah, so Google's dead. Hooray. Meaning if I take my IP address, yeah, I could do with an I before that, if you don't mind. There we go. Don't know what's happening here. Where's my ton? 0. There it is. So if I do this, grab that, throw in a HTTP, put that in there. It's going to try connecting to port 80. It should say it's alive. I should get a connection. Yes, look at this. From Creative. Python requests. Huh. I wonder if there's anything up with this version. I wonder if that's why they're giving me the version number. Interesting. So I will certainly try that in a second. I just want to see what it comes back with. They might be trying it more than once and it might say that it's dead. Yeah, okay. Interesting that. So let me first look up Python request this version and see if there's any issue. Yep, still nothing in GoBuster. I'm not sure what's happening there. Search exploit. Oh, what was it? Python. Well, I just put Python. Python requests anywhere? No. Nothing here at all. Right, okay. What if I put in itself? What if I put in beta.creative.thm? No, that'll come up as nothing because it's beta.creative.thm in my host file, but not on the host file of the system running this, so it's not going to come up with anything at all. Although, it might have it somewhere. Well, we'll find out in a minute. Okay, that's dead. So what if I try 127001? It's doing itself on port 80, which we know actually, aha. So this is the web page Creative Studio. Nice. Okay. So at least we know this script works. We can call 127001 and be presented with the page on port 80, right? The reason why it doesn't look all pretty and it is because if we view source, you will see that all of the assets and things come from I could be wrong here, but I thought they all came from creative.htm or something. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe that's the base. Whatever. So I'm immediately now thinking, can I upload a file from my, if it's connecting to my system, can I upload? No, because there's no PHP. Is this a PHP page? It's not. And it said that it's a Python request as well. So it doesn't look like, can I upload a shell? Can I run a bash shell? Not easily. I can't think of any easy way of doing that. Let me just try something though. What? Oh no, that won't work because it's not got PHP on the system. I was trying to do a web shell. Okay, so what I'm going to try and do is break out and run some of the commands like ls or something. Let's get some burp suite going. Because then I can make edits as I go, you know, rather than have to keep making new requests, and I can see what's happening in the output. Is this a case of SSRF? This could be server-side request forgery. That's an interesting option. I'll try the command injection first, and then I'll go for some SSRF, and then after that I'll need to really think about what's happening under the hood, because obviously I'm missing something important. So we're going to do proxy. We're going to set this to burp suite, and we're going to run that. This should pick it up, which it does. Let me just pull this out to match the size of that screen. We're going to throw it to the repeater and then get rid of this. So, okay, it literally just says dead. If we get rid of that and just do the URL HTTP, that works. Let's try some SSRF. So let's imagine that there's some service running on a different port, web-based or whatever, which we'll be able to access through this by just changing the port number. The question is, which port? Well, we don't know, do we? So we're going to actually put port 1. This is similar to when you put something in a browser and you put which port you want to go on. We're going to do port 1, and we're actually going to set that as what we're going to fuzz. We're going to change this to numbers, and we're going to do all ports from 1 to 65535, every single port. We're going to start the attack, and we're going to see that the length, when it's 184, it says dead. We expect for port 80 it's going to be more than that, because it loads the creative website. We don't have to do this like by running down like this. I'll show you another way in just a second, but I just want to check that 80 does actually show a bigger number here. There we go, 37763. So if we do the length by biggest ones first, you'll see that we've got leaked 1337 is a bigger size as well. Lovely. And the response here seems to have directory listings. This looks good. This looks great, actually. So we're just going to wait for this to fit. Oh, it could take ages. It's doing every single port. Did 22 come up with something? Because I know that's SSH as well. So 22 shows dead as well. Okay. So, well, so far we've got 80 and 1337. We're going to leave that running. Okay, so we can try SSRF, server-side request forgery, and fuzz on the ports. 80 returns as expected, and 1337 as unexpected. So what we can do now is go here and literally just put in 1337. It might not have it on beta at all. Hang on, am I still capturing requests? I'm not. It might not have it on beta, but it may have it on creative. That's what we're waiting for now. Maybe it won't load in a browser. Maybe I'll crash something. We know that 1337 is a good possibility. There doesn't seem to be anything else appearing up here yet, just these two. So it's just a case of waiting for this to load, if it does. See if we can load it in a new page. If not, we can try the URL, URL, what am I talking about? Try the IP address instead of the host name. I don't think it should make a difference, but we're going to just do that and see. We might need to wait until this is complete, because it might be using up all the resources on the system. That's something else we need to consider. Yeah, that's it. It's literally just 80 and 1337, and that is it. I don't think there's going to be anything in the last 1,000 ports. No, we're done. Okay. So let's see. Is this loading? It's not. So that loads. 1337 doesn't. Really interesting. That loads. 1337 doesn't. And it really should, I think. I really think that should load because we do have some output appearing here. Let's send this back to the repeater and we'll just see what happens if we try and close you. Let's see what happens if we try and post this. Yeah, this works, and we've got a directory listing here. So I should be able to maybe just go through this with Burp Suite rather than in browser. Very interesting that it's not loading here. It might be because 1337 is not accessible from the outside, because let's face it, if it was, then yeah, this is exactly what's happening. I'm being stupid. 1337 is not available from the outside because otherwise would have found it in the Nmap scan. It's only internal. I'm being stupid. So what we need to do is http 127.0.0.1 here, and it appears here. And we might be able to, yeah, now it's trying to go to home and so on and so forth. But that means we're then going to go back and then put in /home. And now we're, okay, I see. So we've got two users, SAD and Ubuntu. So we're going back again. This is what I'd be easier in Burp Suite. And you'll see why. Because we just need to keep changing this. Home, SAD. And then we get the directory listing here. Bash history, bash logout, bash rc, cache, GNUPG. Oh, SSH. You know what I'm thinking here, guys. .ssh. Do we have it? IDRSA. Yeah, don't mind me, a bit of a memory lapse. There we go. A bit of a brain lapse, sorry. So there's our private key right here. Nice. So we're just going to put this in 1337, which shows us the root of the file system. Yeah. We can navigate. Yeah. And we can get this. Gorgeous. That is what we like to see. Okay, so we're going to create this on our system creative. Lol. We're going to nano ID RSA. We're going to put in this and save it. Make sure everything looks okay and there's nothing weird about it. Yeah, absolutely. We're going to change the mode of this to 600 because otherwise it won't work. And then we're going to SSH ID RSA. The user is sad at creative.thm. Could not resolve hostname. Oh, THM. And we need a password. Okay. Okay, fine. So we're not doing too bad. We need a password here. We can try bruting it. Might be the way in, or I might need to. This could be a rabbit hole, and instead, I may need to look somewhere else. So we will certainly try it. We're going to locate SSH to John, which is here and also in here. Don't think it matters which we use. Yep, there we go. So it's just after the private key file. We're going to give it IDRSA, and it comes out with that. What we're actually going to do is push that into hash.text. And so now hash.text has this, which can be cracked by either John the Ripper or Hashcat. We'll try John just with the basic, because sometimes it works, you know. Without any word list, it's able to do it by itself. I'm not saying it will this time. And if it doesn't do it in a few seconds, I'm going to use RockU instead. I think Hashcat is quicker. Yeah, that's going to take a while. So, absolutely. So what we're going to do is look up Hashcat. What's M400? Was that what I need? I'm not sure. Let's just give it the hash.text. Yeah, so it figured out what it is, I think. Oh no, no hash mode matches. So what is M400? Too many numbers here. Let's do that again. We're going to just grep 400. Oh, 400 is PHP, PHPass. That's not what I'm after. So we're going to grep for SSH. So we've got SHA-1. That's not what we're after either. Huh. Interesting. So will Hashcat run if I get rid of this at the beginning? Because sometimes with the username, you can set it to work with a username, but I just like removing it. And if I just give it hash.text, no hash mode matches. So I guess we're back to John then in this case. John hash.text. Yeah, it knows that it's an SSH private key. It knows that for sure. So all we need to do is give it a word list, which I think is W. Or it could be word list. No such file or directory. There we go. So we're going to give it the word list. We're going to go back a couple of directories into it's passwords, isn't it? We'll go into tools, we'll go into word lists, and then we'll go to RockU and see what happens here. So it's loading hashes of type SSH. We can force the type if we want to with format, but it says that it also saw different types, but it's only loading SSH. So it's not going to matter whether it sees them or not. It's just a case of being aware that, you know, it could be something else. So I think we're just leaving this now to run with RockU, and I'm going to go and come back if there's a result, and I'm hoping there is, because if not, we're going to have to go back through the web and see if there's any other way in. So I'll see you in a few seconds for you. Hopefully a few seconds for me. We'll see. What way? 3:05 p.m. Let's see. I'm back basically just to say that I stopped it and then restarted it, forcing the format SSH, and then I noticed that it was defaulting to the word list in the default password list, really, rather than RockU. And I think that's because I did word list without the equals. So this time I've done there we go. I've done word list with the equals, and so it started using RockU, and immediately, almost immediately, it's come up with this here being the password, which is beautiful. So it's a good job I came back, really, isn't it? Because that's just happened. Nice. So now we can try this again, exactly the same as we did before, getting into SSH this way. Good. And we've got a full, fully working SSH bash shell here, which is the best type of shell to have. And we have the user.txt already. Great. So I'm very happy about that. Very happy about that, actually. So we can do it in ls. So we've got start server.py. We can look at that. Oh, that's just the server at 1337. Okay, got it. Serve forever. Okay, that's fine. So we've got ls, we've got lsa here. There's a few files here which could be useful to look at. SSH we've already seen. But for now, I think we're just going to take a look around. We're also going to sudo l to see if there's a password. We're going to use the same password as the SSH key, which it doesn't exist, to be honest. We've got bash history, bash logout. We'll try those because it's always good to do so. And cat bash. What was the other one? Logout, was it? Okay. So MySQL is used. So there could as root. Sorry. So there could be something in the database. SSH password isn't logged, as you know. But that one is. Echo my strongest password yet into creds.txt, then remove creds.txt. Ooh. I was going this if I hadn't have found this just by playing around, then Limpies would have definitely picked up on this. And I'm going to prove it to you. Now, before I've said I'm going to prove it to you, and I've not done that and I keep forgetting. So at the bottom I'm putting here Limpies on sad password, right? So that's my reminder. Assuming this password actually works, then I think we can probably check out sudo at this point. Nice. So we can run user bin ping, which is quite intriguing. Can anything be done with ping? I don't know. We'll find out using GTFO bins. If it ain't here, then it don't exist. I know there's like hping and stuff like that, but let's have a look. Where's my search? hping 3 and fping. There's nothing just for ping. Huh. What's the point then? Oh. Right, let me explain what this is. Environment variables and such, you can create them, and I'll show you this. If I put an environment variable such as IP equals X, like that. Oh. Let's export. No. There we go. And then I can cat IP. Well, I can echo IP is what I meant to say. And it shows me what's in there. That's an environment variable, okay? Because it's a variable that's been set in our bash shell here. But if I go to a different terminal window and I echo IP here, echo is useful. There's nothing in it. It's valid for this window only. Now there is a way to set it system-wide, but it's valid for this window only, and if I close this window, it's now cleared. It's not in any other window at all. So environment variables, there are things like the path we've exported before to add our local path to the path variable. You know, if I sort of do echo path, you'll see that we've got this here. And this happens in every single window that we have. There. So what's happening is it's keeping the environment variable LD preload. Now what LD preload does, it basically runs something. I'm trying to explain this as best I can. It basically runs something or does something before this. So if we set something like who am I here and we run user bin ping, it will first run who am I and then it will run ping. It runs it in the context of root because we're using sudo. So now you can see why this is going to be such a big issue, because if we can put a shell here and then run user bin ping, it will run our elevated shell and we should gain access as root. Now, just to make sure that I've told you that correctly, we are going to look up LD preload exploit. Okay, so it doesn't matter which of these we pick. It doesn't, you know, whatever. So it can specify a shared object file that will be loaded before other shared objects. We can take advantage of this using function hooking, etc., etc., etc. That looks really complicated. I'm not going into that. Okay. Privilege escalation. There we go. So here's an example. Someone can run nmap and they have this LD preload. So what they do is they create a C file here, and they are setting UID to 0, which is root. We know this to be true. If we cat etc password, you can see the UID of Ubuntu here, the UID and so on. Assad is 1000. You go up to root, it is always, and I mean always, going to be 0, right? It's setting it to 0 here. It's then opening a new shell, bin bash, as root. So we compile this, and then we set the LD preload when using the sudo command to that new file here, and then it runs nmap. So we can pretty much follow this example, I think. I think we can follow this example. So what we're going to do is, it needs to be an .so file, right? Oh my god, that was wrong. So we're going to, we're here. We're going to do it in temp just to be sure. I don't think it matters. Right, we're going to nano privesc.so. We're going to put this in. No, that was wrong. I'm going to put this in here. So that's our privesc so file. We're going to make sure it's, no, we need to compile it, right? Oh, privesc.c it should be. Okay. Because it's the basic C file there. So we run this, and that compiles it. There's a warning, but it's fine. It's still allowed. And we should see it. Where is it? There it is. privesc.so. Okay. Okay, I need to fill in my notes a bit. Okay, I'm going to put here LD preload exploitation. We can basically use this link here. We create in temp following. Yeah, okay. Yeah, fair enough. That'll do. We're creating temp this, save as prevesc.c, and then we compile here. Good. So that's where we're up to. And now all we need to do, at least according to this article here, is run sudo with this preload. So I'm just going to change this here to what we need. We're going to do temp / prevesc.so, and it's not user bin nmap, it is user bin ping. So it will run this code before it runs ping, and then we should have root. And that's it, guys. So we're going to cat root.text. And now I need to go back and show you what I promised you I'd show you. Okay. We're there, we're done. How long did it take? Because it said it was going to take 2 hours. Let's find out, see how long we've been. We've been 55 minutes. So that's not bad. Half the time needed. So rather than putting these straight in, let's see if I was right about limpies here. We're going to exit from this shell to get back to the one we were at. We're going to, in fact, just so we feel more at home, think about it. We are going to start a server. We're going to sudo python 3 http server on port 80. So that's basically running a http server in this directory. And now we can grab limpies, wget whatever our IP is. Okay, so we're running the limpies now. I'm going to see if I can up this a little bit. There we go. So what we're looking for is that password, which is stored in the bash history. We will just wait and see if it actually comes up. Kind of hoping it does. Now, I could have even grepped for this, to be honest. I'm just waiting for this to stop moving around because it's going to make navigation so much difficult if it's still moving. Let's take a look, see what we have. Okay. Okay, we've got a few exploits here. It'll be a bit further down, but I just want to make sure it's not shown anywhere else. But root, root's not important. We've got listeners, not important. We're not looking for SUID or anything like this. We already know how to get in. We can see that 1337 is running locally, which is fine. We know all about that. You can even see this, look, checking sudo L, and you can see that we have this here. How does it know this without the password? Anyway, so we have the preload. We know all about that. I'm just more thinking about where that password is going to be stored. That's the only thing we would have been missing, right? If I hadn't have got lucky just by trying these files. I mean, it's not luck, it's enumeration, but still. We have the SSH key, which we know about. Authorized keys, root logging, SSH keys were found. We know about this. We've still not got this file at all. So we're going to keep looking here. We don't have any bash history or anything as of yet. I'm fairly confident it should be in here, and if it's not, I'd be surprised. I'm not necessarily saying that it's going to be, I mean, because it's got bash history here, but it's not mentioning anything in it as of yet. If we start looking for the word password, there's every chance that it will be. There we go, look. Searching passwords in history files, we have these here, including the password we needed. Yeah, there we have it. So I knew that Limpeas would get it. I'm glad it proved me right, because that would have been embarrassing. Let's get this finished. So what is user.text? I haven't got a clue, but I soon will have. There it is. And what is root.text? And that one's here. Great work, room completed. Lovely. I'm not doing that. Okay, good. So hopefully, Jamie, this has helped you out. I'm not sure where you got stuck. Please feel free to send me a message and let me know where you were stuck and what's helped out and what hasn't. Let me know if there's anything you did here which is more, maybe you can tell me how to use FUF. No, it's the other one, isn't it? GoBuster to do this. I don't know. Anyway, if there's anything here which you found easier than I did, please let me know, because I'd be interested to hear your methods. Anybody else wants to pipe in, please do so, because it's open forum at this point, isn't it? You know, I like the comments, right? Even the ones which are like, why didn't you do this? Like, yeah, okay, I'm an idiot. It's fine. I said I was going to stop saying that, didn't I? Thank you, guys. Next time, something a little bit more difficult for Hack the Box, I'm sure. But I appreciate you sticking with me for this one. Share the video around, share the post around if you can, like, subscribe, and all that jazz, and visit Nethemba.com for all your pen testing needs. Thank you, guys, and goodbye.